Rosh Chodesh Adar, the apex of Avodat Hashem b'Simcha, and we now finishing up a sefer of Chazak v'Nitchazik. Last week Vayakel, this week Pekudei. I wanted to focus on one of the kelim that I think will help us to understand what it means to Ivdu et Hashem b'Simcha. How to be Chazak v'Nitchazik. And seemingly, there's two different approaches in Avodas Hashem. How to become stronger, how to serve God with happiness. And this is represented, possibly, by the making of the silver basin, the Kiyur Nechoshet. That not only is it physically placed separately from the list of the different silver kalim that were donated, whether it's the Mizbeach or the Mechbar, Reshet, Nechoshet, the Kiyur was placed separately because it didn't come from Bnei Yisrael's regular donations, but rather it came, as the Pasuk says at the end of last week's Parsha, in Perek Lam Chet, it came from Nashim Marot Hatzovaot Asher Tzavu Petach Moed. So both in language it's difficult and also to understand, as I had said, on a hashkafic level, on our Weltanschauung, our worldview, how to understand it. On a Lashon level, it came from women using their mirrors, and then they shared Tzavu Petach Omed, the language of Tzavu, and B'marot Hatzovaot, the same Shorish of Tzadik Bet Aleph. So there's a machlokas mefarshim. It doesn't mean that they donated these mirrors as they gathered together to be able to dive into the Ribbono Shel Olam. This is what the Targum Onkelos ends up saying, that they came Asher Tzovaot to be able to daven, and might follow one hashkafa of both the Ibn Ezra, the Sforno, that both say, why are we using a mirror, which is normally used for the physical, to be able to, as a hechsher, to prepare, to enable the Kohanim to do the avodah of the Beis HaMikdash. Explains both the Ibn Ezra and the Sforno, and seemingly the Targum Onkelos, that these women said, enough's enough. Enough just taking care of the physical. It's true. There was 9 kabim of beauty that came down, and it talks about Yerushalayim. But I don't need to look at my own beauty. Let me just focus on the beauty of Yerushalayim. Surah from all this aesthetic, physical focus. But instead, let me just be purely kadosh, purely connected to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. This, on one level, could be the kedusha, that we go to enable the Kohen to be focused, to be so important, to be kadosh his yadayim and his raglayim. However, Rashi quotes different midrashim that explain that there was some sort of vikuach, some sort of argument that Moshe said, I don't want to accept these mirrors which are used just for the Yetzer Hara, used to be able to entice the other gender. No. HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, Kabel, accept it. Because we know historically, in Mitzrayim, after the Avodas Parech, the tremendous heartbreaking labor which Paro put through Am Yisrael, based on a pasuk, the Midrash, Tachal Tapuach or Articha and Shir HaShirim, that the women are the reason, despite the terrible and awful gzerot that all children, all male children will be thrown into the thrown into the Nile River. Instead, the women made sure to dress themselves up with these mirrors to be able to make sure, to ensure there will be nitzchiyut, to ensure there will be milashon, not only gathering, but as Bnei Yisrael, there would be a gathering of tzivaot Bnei Yisrael, hotzi Hashem et Bnei Yisrael, tzivaot Bnei Yisrael, it says it in the end of Parshat Bo, in Perek Yubet. In English they say legions, but it means that we're going to have life, many, many people developing. So we have two different approaches. We have one approach that the idea of getting to that kedusha is total pre-shoot. to be able not to be interested in the physical sense of the world. The other side is to make sure that you're being mekadesh the physical, to be able to see that this is to represent, look at what we have, to know how to use the physical as a means to avodat Hashem, to understand that the Yetzer Hara is part of, as the Mishnah in Brachot says, not only the Yetzer Atov, but also the Yetzer Hara. The Yetzer Hara giving us that desire to be creative, to populate the world, the desire to conquer, to ability to conquer, to be able, is one more right than the other? I believe the answer is depending on the person, what the balance has to be. We definitely need times that we have to close off our phones during tefillah. Don't check up our WhatsApps during tefillah. Don't have it even in your pockets. As I'm even videoing now, you hear the WhatsApps. It's something you can't focus on a tosfos. You can't focus on a conversation with your wife. You can't focus on a conversation with your chavruta because we're connected to the phone. So sometimes, 100%, you need to be able to have the sforno and the Ibn Ezra's approach to Kedusha, which is take my mirror to be able to be focused to the Ribbono Shalom. But the other times, as we know, is you have to be able to know how to use the world. You have to know how to be able to be chazak, v'nit chazek, to have the simcha of being able, of Purim, of being able to know how to drink wine respectfully, with a certain amount of dignity, hopefully coming through Torah, to being able to care about others, within Matana Levyonim, within Mishloach Manot, all about the idea of taking the physical and raising it up for Kedusha, for Simcha. As we start this beautiful month of Adar Bet, we're excited to getting closer to Purim. May we be zocher, as we finish Sefer Shemot, to know how to be chazak, v'nit chazek, each person a little bit different. Some people a little bit more turning off the phone. Some people being able to make sure they're using that phone well. B'kedusha u'v'tahara. Shabbos.